Hello, beautiful souls. I hope everybody's doing super well today. So, today's reading is for Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So, at the moment, we do have 4 planets in retrograde. We have Pluto in Capricorn, we have Saturn in Aquarius, and we have Jupiter and Neptune both retrograde in Pisces. So I have done readings for the other planets in retrograde, so do go and check those out if you haven't seen them already. They're in the collective readings playlist. So Neptune. Neptune's home sign is Pisces. Neptune retrogrades for about 5 months, 5-6 months every year, and spends its time in each astrological sign for 14 years. So, little fun fact, each year for the last however many years, Neptune has been retrograding in Pisces since 2012. It's been retrograding in Pisces, so it will continue to retrograde in Pisces until 2025. So we've still got another couple of years yet. So the fact that Neptune is in its home sign means that the traits of Pisces and the traits of Neptune are being very heavily amplified by one another. So Neptune is the ruler of imagination, connectedness to the higher realms, dreams, and also has a tendency to escape reality. So this is something to be aware of. There's a lot of past life trauma being brought to the surface because our vibration is higher during this retrograde time. Spirit, the ether, the higher realms, resonates at a much higher frequency, and our frequency has been raised to, perhaps not to match it, but to be a lot closer to it than usual. So we can expect during this retrograde time to be having very vivid dreams, to be more prone to daydreaming, to really using our imaginations a lot more than perhaps we normally do. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I'm always saying, dream up a perfect life for yourself. Well, you know what? During this retrograde period is the perfect time to do that. So we're going to dig in and see how this is affecting our heart space, head space, and physical space. I think that'll be a nice structure to check out this retrograde. There's so many layers to it. And as much as I want to give you guys lots of information, I also don't want to bombard you with it either. So I suspect that a lot of it's just going to come out during this reading anyway. So let's dig in. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I did leave this out. I normally talk about this. So the retrograde period was between June 25th and December 1st. So the other 3 planets that are in retrograde, are in their retrograde period until the beginning to mid-October. This is the only planet that is currently in retrograde that's in retrograde for longer. This one ends in December, so we've got an extra 2 months of experiencing this retrograde energy. By that time, I think it's Uranus will be in retrograde. I think that's in August sometime. Don't quote me on it. We'll obviously do readings for it closer to the time. But at that point, there'll only be 2 planets in retrograde. Pretty sure it's Uranus that's going to join it. So just putting that out there, right? Because I normally talk about the dates and I forgot. Okay, so for heart space then, for the collective, we've got Meadow Vulnerability. Now, this is a card that's quite close to my heart, right? Because when I meditate, I go to a meadow that I constructed myself, and to me, this is the lobby for when I meditate. So I always leave this plane of existence and go to the meadow, and then I go on to other places from there. So I treat it like a starting point for my meditation, or a lobby. So for me to see this card, I mean, obviously I am part of the collective, so this is speaking to me as well, but obviously this is a reading for the collective, not for me. So I feel that the reason that we're seeing this meadow card here is to help me to communicate to you guys that within our heart space, we are in a very dreamlike, meditative kind of state. Like I said a minute ago, our frequency has been raised, so that we can be closer to the higher realms, so we can be closer to answers, closer to source, closer to understanding our soul contract and understanding ourselves. I mean, there's just a plethora of reasons as to why being closer to the higher realms is beneficial, right? And we see this vulnerability here as well, which, you know, you have to literally bare your soul to really connect with spirit. You can't lie, you can't be overtly proud of yourself, you know, in an arrogant way, right? You are who you are, and you cannot hide that from source. You can't pretend to be something you're not. You can't hide behind some false bravado. You are vulnerable, right? You're not vulnerable as in unprotected and unsafe, but you are vulnerable in that you are exposing who you truly are. So within our heart space, we're feeling pretty exposed, right? But again, not in a negative way, right? We're feeling pretty exposed, in that our true self is the thing that's coming to the surface. We're shedding the bullshit, basically. And as I touched on this a moment ago, past trauma from past lives is surfacing. So now is an excellent time to be shedding that too, and to be releasing that. The reason that this stuff is coming up, we are probably not conscious of it, right? We're probably just a little bit reactive in certain situations, and then someone might ask us, or we may ask ourselves, why did I react that way? You know, this isn't a thing I'm afraid of. This isn't a thing, right? This isn't the source of drama, and yet I created drama out of it. I wonder why I did that. It's more than likely because of a past life event that caused some sort of trauma. I tried to say karma at the same time. Trauma, and then resulted in karma because it wasn't resolved in the same lifetime. You carried it around with your soul, and then you were born into this lifetime, and it hasn't been worked out yet. So it's coming to the surface to be released. This is because we are much closer to the higher realms. We're more in touch with ourselves. Interestingly, we've just had the 7/7 portal. I did a reading for that too. Definitely worth going and having a look at that if you haven't seen it. Because 7 is the life path number. It's the divine number for spiritual journey, higher knowing, increased intuition, the authentic self, etc. And this is basically what we're seeing here in heart space for Neptune retrograde Pisces. So let's see what else we've got here. I mean, overall, you know, this is just another opportunity for us to really get into our imaginations and dream up that perfect life. I know I said that earlier, but just a little reminder. Right? Playful. Okay, so this is an air sign. Air, the element of air, speaks to imagination. So have a play, right? The heart space is is feeling it's feeling very playful, right? Playful and vulnerable, just like a child. You know, children aren't pretending to be something that they're not. They don't care what other people think of them until they reach a certain age, and then that becomes a learned behavior through bullying, through societal norms, through the way that their parents interact with them, etc. But when children are up until the age of perhaps 6 years old, they don't get self-conscious. That part of their brain hasn't physically developed yet. And within our heart space, I mean, we've heard of that expression, "young at heart." The reasoning behind that, or not the reason, but the cause of that phrase, let's say, the root of that phrase even being in existence, is because the true soul self resides in the heart space, and the true soul self is this version. It's not the egoic version. It's not the one with the bravado and the false confidence. It's not the one that pretends to be something that it's not. It's not the version of us that wants to be loved and liked or whatever, you know, that cares what other people think. The true soul state is to just get on with it and to be authentic and to not judge others and to not judge ourselves, and doesn't expect to be judged by other people, doesn't care what other people think, because we understand deep down on that level that everyone's on their own journey, including ourselves, and to judge is just to waste time. And it's counterproductive, right? Because when you judge someone, you stunt them. Don't forget your tea. You stunt their growth. You cut them off. And you wouldn't expect to be treated that way, so why would you treat someone else that way, right? So within the heart space, there's always this playful, imaginative sort of energy going on, because that's where the true soul resides, and a human child, is as their true soul is before they get tainted by this physical reality. So we can see that this Neptune retrograde Pisces, excuse me, phase is really amplifying that for us, right? We can see that this is how the heart space naturally is anyway, but it's really being brought to the surface, so that we can actually feel it. So let's see if there's any action that we can take here. If there's you know, how can we make this work for us? Is there anything that we need to be doing or need to be aware of? Okay, so we have the hungry ghosts, we have obsession, scarcity consciousness, and attachment. Card number 14. Why is that significant? Right, because 14 years. Okay, yeah. This is something that Aurora was talking about a minute ago, and I didn't mention it, but now she's talking about it again. I find it pretty fascinating that, like I said at the beginning of this read, Neptune spends 14 years in each of the astrological signs and has been retrograding in Pisces since 2012. Now, 2012 was the end of the Mayan calendar, if you're into all that stuff. A lot of people felt that meant it was the end of the world, but actually what it meant was it was the end of an age. And then there was that kind of overlap time, right? So there was, between 2012 and 2020, there was that overlap time, that gap time, where energy was waning from the old phase and building for the next phase. And then we experienced the Great Conjunction, December 21st, 2020, which heralded in the official start to the Age of Aquarius. Now, I mention all of this stuff because I don't know about you guys, but in 2012, I really felt something shift out and change. And I feel that I personally have been dangling by a thread for, since 2012 through until last year. It's only this year really that I feel like I've really found my feet. That's not just in the physical reality, but just in all respects. It's felt like we were in a state of suspended animation where we were waiting for things to happen so that we could then continue. And now we are continuing. And, the end of the Mayan calendar really did bring that forth. It amplified it. It brought that to our conscious awareness. Now, at the same time, so the Mayan calendar ended 2012, but this is when it was 2012 that Neptune first started retrograding in Pisces. And continued then for the next until 2025, for the next 14 years. So that means that this is the only time we're only going to experience Neptune in Pisces once in our lifetime. When I thought about that this morning before I started this reading, that really hit home for me. Because this is such a unique time. We're literally never going to experience this time ever again. And we have been experiencing it since 2012. But many of us have just been so unaware of all of this stuff because we weren't yet in the Great Conjunction. We weren't yet in the age of Aquarius, wholeheartedly, both feet in. That we weren't really able to consciously use this energy to our benefit. More so, we were at the mercy of it. And being at the mercy of this Neptune Pisces energy is to be swept away by our dreams, escaping reality, being in this scarcity consciousness, being attached to things and not able to release them. Just, you're having a hard time of life, so what do? You go to bed and you go to sleep because dreams are better than reality. Now, I, for one, can personally very much relate to this. I used to treasure sleep more so than my life. I found it way more fun and freeing to be in the dream realm than to be in the real world. And it's like Morpheus said, you've been living in a dream world, Neo. That's exactly where we've been since 2012. We've been in this, and the heart space remembers. And now that we're in this retrograde period again, this is being brought to the surface for us to release it. We are no longer in a dream world, right? Now is the time that we lucid dream during this time, and we're not at the mercy of our dreams. I hope this is making sense to you. I'm not trying to be cryptic. We have been at the mercy of this energy up until this point. Some people still are at the mercy of it, those people who are still, let's say, sleeping. And in a way, isn't it interesting that we refer to people as being asleep or being awake, as to explain how aware they are of their true selves and of all of the movements that are happening within energy and within our physical realm. Neptune Pisces retrograde is it's a very interesting one to me, more so than the other planets in retrograde, to be honest with you. It's no more important than the others, but I find so much interesting symbolism in it. Things that we hadn't previously realized or been aware of. And now there's all of these things that are coming to the surface for the conscious mind to really sift through and understand. So speaking of which, let's have a look at that. Let's see what's going on then in our conscious mind. I mean, this is such an intense retrograde period for us because dreams and reality are just being all mixed up together. And some of us are unable, like, you know, some of us are having such vivid dreams that when we wake up, we feel like it wasn't a dream at all. And at the same time, life can feel a little dreamlike. Dreams and reality are crossing over. There's no definitive line between them. And we're in this until December 1st. So we've got a good handful of months to do our best to work with this energy. Yeah. Expect powerful change. So we feel it. You feel it, don't you? You feel like there is change coming. And you can't put your finger on what it is that's going to change, but you know something is going to change. This has risen, you know, it's hit our conscious awareness that there is change coming. Now, if you've been following my other readings, I've been talking probably across a couple of readings now that we're in a state of ebb and we are about to move into the next state of flow within this action orientated phase, energetic phase. We are right on the brink of it, and I've been promising this for a few weeks now, but as each day passes we get a day closer. There's no definitive date, you know, like, oh, on this date then things are just going to start moving forward. It's going to be different for the individual, but generally speaking, I feel like it's going to be like next week. I really feel like it's going to be next week, but we'll see. You know, because we do energetic check-ins every Monday, unless I've just put one out for something, in which case I don't do a Mystical Monday check-in, just because readings, that when they're too close to each other, it's just going to be all the same information and you guys are going to get bored. It's, you know, I'd rather be putting out readings where you're actually gaining some kind of information that you weren't privy to beforehand, you know. Rather than just repeating the same readings over and over. That's not going to benefit you. So yes, we will be doing a check-in read. In fact, bear with me. Let me see when the next moon phase is. I've got my calendar up here. Okay, so we've got new moon in Cancer coming up in the next couple of days, so we probably won't have a check-in on Monday, but the information that we're looking for will be in the new moon reading. Sorry about that. I've just put a calendar up on the wall behind me, so I thought I better check whilst we're at it. So yeah, we'll be checking in with the new moon energy. Yeah, I just spotted that too. I just realised what I've said. So it's a new moon, right? New beginnings, new moon. We have a new moon eclipse card here. Expect powerful change. I said, I feel like next week is when things are going to start moving into a state of flow. That's new beginnings, is it not? So, okay, all right. It is next week then. I'm totally right. It's next week. It's coming with the next new moon. That new moon is in Cancer. Anyway, I digress, right? So we will do a reading for the new moon, and we can so this change, right? Let's get back to what we were originally talking about. I know what I'm like. I get so sidetracked because everything is so interwoven and interlinked. It can be difficult to focus on just one thing, and not start sort of delving into all the other stuff surrounding it. So Neptune Pisces, Alice, right? So within our conscious awareness, right, we know that change is coming and we know that it's coming soon. Okay, we've just deciphered that actually that change is coming next week with the new moon. Watch this space for that reading. So let's see what else we've got here. What else do we have in our mental space right now with this retrograde? Now, bearing in mind as well that we always do midpoint check-ins. So this isn't, the energy that we're reading now is for the entirety of this retro. Excuse me, I've been drinking a lot of tea. I'm sorry. Is for this whole retrograde period through until December 1st. But we will have a check-in at the midway point to see how we're progressing and how the energy has shifted, because has shifted, because it will, as we journey through the energies, it will morph and change depending on how we've handled it. So, okay, so we have breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Yeah. You create your own reality. That's what this is talking about in this particular context. My will to thy will. This is manifestation. So we are consciously aware that what we think is what we get. And I feel that there are many of you who are really actively using this to your advantage. You are drawing on this vulnerable and playful energy. You're recognizing what you are in lack of, and you are seeking to rectify that through the art of manifestation. I mean, go for it. Make sure that you have the right intention. Manifestation only comes about through the pure of heart, as it were. You know, you still got to be in a state of gratitude for what you do have, more so than I feel like I've been done wrong, you know, because I don't have these things and I should have, and I just have these things. I should have these things, you know. That's not vulnerability, and that's not playfulness either. It should be fun to manifest. It's not a pleading, praying to God kind of energy. It's more of a, I wonder if I can do this, and then exercising your superpower, which is what manifestation is. It's a superpower, and we're all capable of it. So let's see what else we've got within the mental space. Yes. Let's see what else is going on here. Okay, so we have rebirth. Yeah. We are so hyper aware that there is something really changing within us. This is an earth card too. We are so aware that there's something about to happen. Something's about to change. We know it's something good. We don't know what that change is going to be, but we know it's something within ourselves. I hate to keep quoting the Matrix here, but it's like that splinter in your mind, right? That Morpheus was talking about. We can all feel it. We all know that it's there. And we can't quite put our finger on it. It's not that there's something wrong with it. I mean, there is something wrong with the world, but that's not really what we're focusing on right now. It's that something is about to change, and it's big, and we're not afraid of it because we're in this. And I'm going to put this a little separately. I'm going to put that there, because this is just a, hey, if you do have any of this scarcity consciousness or this attachment or obsession or, you know, past life trauma, right, it's coming to the surface so that we can release it, but it's this is the primary sort of energy that's going on within heart space. So let's have a look at physical space. What can we expect from our physical reality as a result of this retrograde? Will our physical reality be changing? How is it going to reflect this energy? Okay, so we have fertility. So this card is speaking to new beginnings. This is change. This is abundance. This is that rebirth, right? That's exactly what that is right there. It's that rebirth energy. Let's see what else we have. So we have wind activation. I've got Aurora in my ear just telling me to keep drawing cards. She's like, just don't interpret them, just keep drawing them. Just keep drawing them, keep drawing them. Okay. You and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. Okay, so new moon in Cancer is exactly what we will have in a couple of days' time. So like I said, we will do a reading for that. Okay, so these changes, right, we're having this suspicion that we've been having here, that there's change coming up soon. Expect powerful change, new moon eclipse. We've now had that confirmed, that with the new moon in Cancer, so starting next week, not next week, but starting next week, the energy is in support of our physical reality changing, of there being this activation, this rebirth energy. New things are coming. I'm just getting a download. New things are coming, and that energy will start supporting that next week. That doesn't mean that you will experience changes immediately next week, but the energies are in support of it from next week. One more? Yes, okay. Interesting, huh? Yeah, so we have trust. This is another Earth card. So we just need to trust that, you know, these are all good changes. These are all things that are being brought about by this retrograde energy, because this energy is supporting these things happening. And we need these things to happen to move forward on our journey. So I think I'll leave that there. I hope that all of this stuff was good information for you all and guide you well in the days to come. We will do a check-in at the halfway point to see how we're getting on with this retrograde energy. But yeah, very, very interesting, the kind of energy that this is bringing. So, you know, stay alert, stay aware, stay conscious, stay awake to all of this, you guys. And when you do slip into that dream world, use it to the highest degree. Use it to dream up a perfect life for yourself. Don't be at the mercy of your dreams anymore, like we have been since this retrograde began, you know, in Pisces in 2012. So I will love and leave you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody, and remember that you are valued and you are important, and I will see you guys in the next one.